news tonight, this Monday, Hurricane George pounces on the Gulf Coast and stays there. Medical technology on the cutting edge. An injection without a needle and operating on a heart that isn't there. And why is the government knocking down houses and then rebuilding them at 4 times the cost? It's your money.
From ABC News World Headquarters, this is a West Coast edition of World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. It's the hurricane that would not quit. That's Hurricane George, of course. It's been 11 days since this Frenchman came storming up the Caribbean. Today, George was stomping on the Gulf Coast in Mississippi. Winds as high as 175 miles an hour in Alabama, 25-foot waves in Florida, 20 inches of rain so far, 250,000 people told to leave their homes. We're going to begin right in the middle of it all. ABC's Antonio Mora reports from Gulfport, Mississippi.
First, it was the wind. A wind so powerful it sent white caps through flooded streets and bent huge steel signs as if they were rubber.
It's devastating. It's scary. It's my first experience with the hurricane, and it's scary.
Devastating it was. Throughout downtown Gulfport, the hurricane smashed buildings and destroyed businesses. On the Gulf, it lifted boats onto their docks. And in Harrison County alone, the storm left nearly 100,000 people without power. People whose homes survived the worst of the winds are still threatened. Rain has poured down for more than 24 hours, and the floodwaters are still rising.
It is unreal. I was here during the time of Camille and all of that, but I've never been in flood water this deep.
The flooding forced Randy Cobalt to swim to escape from her home.
It's up to here in our living room. Yeah. And there's everything in the refrigerator's floating outside. Our sofa's floating, everything. We're about knee-deep in water.
Cobalt's neighbors suffered a similar fate. This afternoon, the National Guard evacuated hundreds when flooding overwhelmed another neighborhood. And police had their hands full protecting property and people.
So the best thing to do, like I said, would be just to go to a shelter and go ahead and get out of here.
Well, it's going to be traumatic for them. Once they get back and see what's happening on their streets and in their neighborhoods, and, you know, you can't go to the store. They've got to deal with no air conditioning. They've got to deal with no refrigerator. They've got to deal with no lights. A good many of the phones are out. We're going to have to get back to the basics for a while, get to know our neighbors a little better, and deal with each other a little better.
The hurricane victims will need to, because with flooded or damaged homes and no power, their hardships have just begun. Peter?
Thanks, Antonio. Antonio Mora. The big problem, as Antonio knows, is George just stays around, moving north very slowly, grinding through Alabama and Mississippi. Only now, tonight, is George becoming a tropical storm. ABC's Steve Osunsami is in Biloxi, Mississippi.
As if the winds weren't enough, Hurricane George brought this part of the Gulf Coast nearly 2 feet of rain. There are roads in Biloxi that could pass as small rivers. And the city's Treasure Bay Casino is lucky to still be here after storm surges loosened its restraints. Chris Falcon and Ashley Browning are 2 of hundreds of thousands of people without power.
It's a good portion. That's at least probably 2/3 of people live around here.
The Hopkins family also chose to stay through the storm and say the worst of George felt like it would never end.
This one has just lingered on and on, both coming and going.
The storm's slow movement gave it plenty of time to spawn twisters, which knocked down trees, damaged homes, and blocked roadways. Authorities say there were no casualties in Biloxi, but warn the storm is still here and is still dangerous. About 8 o'clock local time, the eye of Hurricane George passed directly over Biloxi. The high winds disappeared and the heavy rain became a slight drizzle. But just a few hours later, and the wind returned up to 75 miles an hour, and the rain came back as well. In all, the eye moved only about 25 miles all day. A slow but destructive storm. Steve Osunsami, ABC News, Biloxi, Mississippi.
One of the most destructive things about a hurricane of this power is the storm surge. That's when the storm literally pulls the ocean water up underneath it and then pushes it onto land. And that's what's been happening in Mobile, Alabama. Our Aaron Hayes is there.
A tremendous storm surge is shoving its way ashore, pushing Mobile Bay up into Mobile. The convention center here is now submerged. Dauphin Street dead ends into the bay.
I've been here all my life, and I've never seen the water come up this far.
In one housing complex, water surrounded and stranded residents this morning.
It was scary in the water. It was deep.
Alligators was over there early and snakes and stuff.
In Gulf Shores, Alabama, high winds helped push the storm surge into the hotel district. Millions of dollars in damage here. Debris littered across the beach. And high water here has swamped roads, shut down highways, sealed off interstate exits. And the story is much the same along the Gulf. In so many communities here tonight, the storm surge driven by this unending wind and rain has pressed up the beaches, up into streams and rivers, into homes and communities here, creating in so many places just a real mess tonight. Peter?
Thanks, Aaron. Aaron Hayes, very much, and all the rest of you, too. As Aaron says, it's just hanging on and doing its thing until later this evening. Nightline will revisit the region in its entirety and tell the rest of the country how bad it is by that point. When we come back, some of the other news today. The Israelis and Palestinians trying to make a deal, maybe this time, maybe. And medical technology on the cutting edge. Injections without needles. And a heart that's a hologram. We'll take a closer look.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Charles Schwab.
Traffic sounds bad.
Yeah, so tell me about Cantex.
Just jump to 43 even. You're long 20,000.
What's the best way to sell that?
Checking the quote. There's a huge size on the bid. No need to break it up. You can move it as a block.
Good, sell it at market, okay?
Placing an order, moving 20,000.
Moving nowhere in Santa Monica.
Confirmed, 20,000 sold at market.
Can you give me the peonies?
From now on, embarrassing odor for bladder leakage won't stop me from going where I want to go.
Or doing what I want to do. And it shouldn't stop you.
Introducing A&D personal care products for bladder leakage in soothing dry lotion and cleansing towelettes. It's the first line of products made to capture and eliminate urine odor on contact and soothe irritated skin.
Ordinary lotions or wipes can't do that.
You'll feel fresh, clean, and odor-free all day.
New A&D personal care. A&D as in odor-free.
Life's an adventure because you're over 50 and still exploring. So take the Centrum made just for you, Centrum Silver, with age-essential nutrients specially adjusted to keep pace with your changing nutritional needs. Centrum Silver, it's a great time to be silver.
So through the bus and the train, you can get anywhere you want, pretty much.
It's pretty simple. You just get on the bus here, get off the transit point, and get on the train.
Here they come. So we're actually going to connect on the bus and then take Max, right?
All right, let's go.
All right. Wow, that was a short ride. Now we go from the bus to Max, huh?
Yep, that's right.
Oh, this is easy. Clem, I've been dying to see whatever you have in that bag. Oh, you know any train songs?
How good can it get? A powerful 132 horsepower engine, the largest coupe interior in its class, split fold-down rear seats, race-inspired handling, and deluxe sound insulation for a quieter ride. How good can it get? It gets this good. Plymouth Neon, 11,020, or get 2.9% APR for over $1,700 in savings on Plymouth Neon.
See your local Northwest Chrysler and Plymouth dealer.
At the White House today, President Clinton met with Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat and the Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu. Once again, the United States is trying to break a deadlock in the negotiations between the Palestinians and the Israelis over land for peace. Here's ABC's Sam Donaldson.
It was another of those dramatic scenes in the world of high diplomacy. The Prime Minister of Israel and the leader of the Palestinians, together with the President in the Oval Office, to announce progress toward peace.
There has been a significant narrowing of the gaps between the two parties across a wide range of issues.
Progress, but nothing final. Although Prime Minister Netanyahu let it be known over the weekend in New York that Israel would agree to withdraw from another 13% of the West Bank as long as 3% of that was kept in a natural state as a buffer zone. So if such progress was being made, why was it necessary to meet with President Clinton? Secretary of State Albright was asked.
I think it really is important to have the president's imprimatur on moving this process forward. To have the opportunity to have the president look them both in the eye and say, this is important.
And the president will have another such opportunity in mid-October when he's invited the two leaders back to Washington in hopes of wrapping up an interim withdrawal agreement. You know, some people, Peter, may think that the Middle East peace process is a dull issue, but it is important. And certainly for the president just now, it provides a welcome change of subject.
Thanks, Sam, very much. At the White House, something else not as unstable in the Middle East, but very important to the United States. What does it mean when America's most important European ally gets a new leader after he has been in power for 16 years? ABC's Jim Wooten reports tonight on the man who defeated Europe's most dominant politician.
The next German chancellor, Gerhard Schröder, in the first full flash of victory and into a clamor of questions about who he is and where he's headed.
Die SPD steht für
We will solve unemployment, he said for his German audience, and for Europe and the world, he endorsed lower interest rates and global economic reform. But Mr. Schröder didn't say how, which is what Germans have come to expect. His sophisticated campaign,
Von denen lebt diese Stadt, dass unser Volk spürt.
Like Prime Minister Blair's and President Clinton's, promised change without defining it. And that was good enough for most German voters. Mr. Schröder's a former Marxist who moderated his leftist views, joined the parliament, learned to use the media, has been married 4 times and elected 3 times as governor of Lower Saxony. His foreign policy experience is limited, but he promised continuity today, stability in all of Germany's relationships. In fact, Mr. Schröder has said there'll be no radical revolution at all under his stewardship of the country. We'll do the same things, he said, better. Jim Wooten, ABC News, Bonn.
Now, some other important overseas news. With the threat of NATO airstrikes hanging over him, the premier of Serbia today declared an end to the violence in the province of Kosovo. Basically, he told the parliament in Belgrade Serb forces have prevailed. Over the weekend, the Serbs bombed ethnic Albanians in Kosovo again, driving thousands more of them out of their homes. There are nearly 300,000 refugees now from Kosovo. NATO officials say the threat of airstrikes will stay in place until Serbia moves its forces out altogether. Here in New York today at the United Nations, the Deputy Prime Minister of Iraq, Tariq Aziz, met with the UN Secretary General Kofi Annan to try to reach some agreement over weapons inspections in Iraq. For nearly 2 months now, Iraq has refused to cooperate with UN inspectors. Mr. Aziz and Mr. Annan said that some progress had been made today towards resuming inspections with Iraqi cooperation, though no one holds their breath. When we come back, a virtual heart. You can see it, you can feel it, even though it isn't there. Medicine on the cutting edge.
Since you and my little girl are moving away, there's one thing you need to know. 10-10-3-2-1.
You think she'll call her mother a lot?
Yes, and hopefully her father, too. But you'll be glad that 10-10-3-2-1 saves you big time on your phone bill.
Will they talk long?
That's the beauty part. It doesn't matter. 10-10-3-2-1 saves you 50% on every call over 20 minutes.
50%? That's big.
That's huge. So those half-hour talks with her mom are going to cost you a lot less.
Dad, are you giving away the family secrets?
I gave him the best one I have.
Dial 10-10-321 to save.
You can feel it start to burn all through here. All you can think about is getting rid of it quickly. I even tried Zantac 75, but it didn't work fast enough. Finally, I asked my doctor, and my doctor said Mylanta. Fast-acting Mylanta was made to work fast where heartburn hurts most. Soothing, on contact. It's so fast. My doctor said Mylanta.
And if you suffer from gas, there's a Mylanta just for you. Mylanta Gas.
You may be surprised who's drinking Ensure. Healthy people. Why? Because to help you stay healthy, you have to eat right. For the times you can't eat nutritious foods like these, drink Ensure. With the essential vitamins and minerals you find in vegetables, calcium like in milk, and protein like in fish. Ensure is a source of complete balanced nutrition to help you stay active and energetic. Drink Ensure. And drink to your health.
55. What'll it be?
We'll take some rice and...
Get some farf, too.
Yeah.
Now you can choose which teams you see every Sunday with DirecTV and NFL Sunday Ticket. There's up to 13 regular season games a week.
Price check on farm.
Hey, Brett. Hey, John.
So stock up on all your favorites. NFL Sunday Ticket. It's not on cable. See it on DirecTV. So what are you looking at?
Attention shoppers. Now get $200 worth of programming when you get DirecTV.
This week, we're going to take a closer look at some of the marvelous medical technology that is beginning to enter our lives, what is only rarely now called science fiction technology. Technology is actually moving so fast that it's really catching up with screenwriters.
That's not what we came to Vulcan for, is it?
In Star Trek, this is how people were given shots. There were no needles on the Enterprise. And now that we have seen ABC's Jack Smith reporting for us, we understand.
It's what we learn to hate
It's okay, it's not a big...
from an early age.
Sorry.
But now there's breakthrough technology so simple anyone can use that literally blasts drugs like vaccines through the skin. And it is without any pain.
It startled me, but it didn't hurt at all. It didn't hurt a bit. It just was a tap of air.
Here's how it works. Tiny particles of drugs in powder form are driven by a blast from a gas canister to supersonic speeds of more than 1,600 miles an hour.
When they come out of this, those particles, although they're very small, have enough momentum to penetrate the skin and achieve a painless injection.
What makes it possible is the shape of the nozzle inside the device. It is identical to the combustion chamber on the space shuttle.
Why is it shaped like a rocket nozzle?
To maximize its speed at the exit.
And you have to dip into rocket technology to get that design.
Exactly right. Gas dynamics.
Because the drug travels at more than 2 times the speed of sound, like a jet fighter, there is, when it's not muffled against the skin...
Whoa, is that a sonic boom?
That is a sonic boom.
Scientists say powder injection technology eliminates not only the needle, but also things like the spread of AIDS and hepatitis from needles. A revolution in drug delivery, replacing the syringe that's been with us since before the Civil War. Jack Smith, ABC News, Fremont, California.
Powder injection technology will undergo larger trials very soon and could well be available to your family doctor within a couple of years. Some other technology we've been looking at this week could take a little longer, but it's even more astounding. Holograms, as some of you may know, are three-dimensional floating images. They are light projected into space. Now we are learning that holograms can change the way doctors do their jobs altogether. This is a hologram of a real heart. You can only focus on it from a surgeon's perspective. From any other angle, it disappears. It has enormous value to a surgeon because you can actually touch it and feel it, even though it isn't there. You can feel it in your hand.
Please, give it a try.
Dr. Rick Satava is professor of surgery at Yale University.
Oh, my goodness. It actually feels like a pulse. How is that happening?
The information that is being sent to the image is also being sent to the device you have in your hand.
If I poke it, it resists. If I hit it, it jumps back. Poking a heart in virtual reality. It's unbelievable. On the contrary, it's believable.
Professor Satava, who's a pioneer in this field, directs a Pentagon research fund which has invested $2 million at Dimensional Media and Associates in New York to study the virtue of three-dimensional surgery using holograms.
You can improve to the point at which when you cut the heart open, it bleeds. You can perform a real operation.
With the aid of powerful computers, doctors and scientists have already embarked on three-dimensional journeys through the body. They can simulate surgery using the computer, but the promise of a three-dimensional hologram for teaching and diagnosis is immense.
The idea would be that we would have this full three-dimensional image and the surgeons would be able to practice on them. We can do things to the image that I wouldn't dare do to you. If I put your liver there and I thought there was something wrong, I could reach in and feel it.
How long before you think you'll be able to do the entire human body as you've done a heart?
It's going to be 5 to 10 years, and that's dependent upon computer power.
In fact, Professor Satava imagines a world where we all carry a smart card with personal holograms containing our medical histories.
Your digital you, if you will, that you put in your pocket. Or we can store it on a website and make it available globally for telemedicine and teleconsultation.
Tomorrow, you've heard about artificial arms and artificial legs, but what about artificial muscles? Our edition tomorrow of Medicine on the Cutting Edge. When we come back this evening, million-dollar homes which are environmentally solid, but financially very shaky. And it's your money.
Because of our passion for design and engineering, our vehicles speak for themselves. And recently, others have had some great things to say about our quality, too. Sebring Convertible, Total Quality Award. Town & Country, Total Quality Award. Cirrus, Best in Class and Initial Quality by J.D. Power & Associates. Concorde, Best in Class and Initial Quality by J.D. Power & Associates. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
You already know how important calcium is for your bones, but did you know that 85% of women still don't get enough? So start your day with Total. It's the only leading cereal that's an excellent source of calcium, even before adding milk. In fact, Total has more calcium than the milk itself. No other leading cereal comes close. Simple, low-fat, delicious. So good, you can feel it in your bones. Total Raisin Bran, Total Corn Flakes. One bowl, one great source of calcium.
Looking vibrant is reserved for the very young. Do you believe that? In Europe, women like us have tested a breakthrough concept in skincare. New Pro-Vital from Oil of Olay. The healthy radiance feels like it's coming back.
These products are created especially for maturing skin. Formulas that can immediately change the look of the skin.
Now Pro-Vital from Oil of Olay is available in the U.S.
I love the feel of my skin again.
New Pro-Vital from Oil of Olay. Proven to help you look revitalized.
Before you do this or this or this, you want to have this and this and this.
You'd be surprised how much of our technology goes into your day.
So for this or this or this.
We're Siemens.
We can do that.
Some people call it retirement planning. I think of this as future construction. Year by year, block by block, until...
It's our dream house.
Beautiful. But I was hoping we could afford to travel. This plan can help make it happen. We can even make sure you've got worry-free income for life.
AXA, dynamic vision, equitable, a trusted resource. Call us. Equitable is a member of the global AXA Group.
In this week's edition of Your Money, what happens sometimes when government tries to do what government actually believes to be a good thing. The Environmental Protection Agency moved in at one place to get some homeowners out of a hazardous situation. And then the EPA turned into a construction agency, and, well, ABC's John Martin has the rest.
7 years ago in this neighborhood near Philadelphia, dozens of homeowners discovered hazardous materials, radium and thorium, had been used in building their homes in the 1920s. The Environmental Protection Agency swung into action, decontaminating the properties and demolishing some of them, paying families to move elsewhere.
Some owners wanted to stay, but instead of giving them market value to replace their houses on their own, the EPA decided to go into the home building business. Brick by brick, board by board, it replaced just 10 houses at a staggering total cost of $6.5 million.
Before it was demolished, this house was valued at $141,000. To rebuild it, the government spent $422,000, creating what it calls a customized replica. The owner is pleased.
I love it. Yeah, we're very comfortable. It's very much like our original house, only newer.
This house was worth $161,000. To rebuild it, the government spent $706,000. Take a look inside. French doors, custom cabinets, a bay window, a second basement stairway, Even so, the owner is not pleased.
I feel that the government did spend an awful lot more money on this house than they should have.
So who's at fault? The EPA says it never would have rebuilt the houses if it were not for pressure from Congress, which implied EPA's budget might be cut if it did not do the work.
We recommended against it. Yet, because of the pressure, the decision was made to go ahead with rebuild.
I mean, that is pure horse crap and poppycock.
Congressman Curt Weldon signed a letter strongly suggesting that some houses should be rebuilt.
What we were saying, the EPA, is resolve this. Take care of this. If it's rebuild the homes, rebuild them. But certainly no one in their right mind would ever say rebuild them at a cost of $600,000 each.
But thanks to pressure from people in Congress, that's what the government did. Spent $6.5 million to rebuild 10 houses. It's your money. John Martin, ABC News, Lansdowne, Pennsylvania.
As for some of your money, on Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrials gained 80 points to close at 81.08. On the NASDAQ market, stocks lost more than 4 points. Back in just a moment.
Morning seems so much brighter after a good night's sleep. That's why I love my Tylenol PM. Sometimes I have trouble sleeping. I used to worry about taking something. How would I feel in the morning? And then I tried Tylenol PM. It stops my pain and helps me sleep. So in the morning, I'm rested, refreshed, ready to make the most of my day.
Rest easy. It's Tylenol PM.
How's Max doing? He's doing okay. So how long before Max can play again? Well, the vet said Max will be back to his old self in a couple of days.
Even the interior of the Chevy Blazer was designed to make you feel at ease. Chevy Blazer, a little security in an insecure world. Ah, the good old days of supermarket shopping, when nothing stood between you and your next meal. Nothing. But today, there are materials that help lock out harmful contaminants and reduce spoilage, keeping us safe and the food we eat fresh. Plastics make it possible. So now, the rest is history.
A final word for this evening. A colleague of ours, a friend of ours, Arnott Walker, died this morning, and it is possible that many of his other friends around the country, he had so many friends in so many places, will be as shocked as we were. Arnott was the press representative here. He tried to explain what was going on here to other people in the media and out. Thousands of people. He was only 44 and he died of pneumonia. He was an enormous character in every way. He had worked in politics before he came here, watching out for some pretty famous politicians. His sense of humor and the effervescence of his spirit were such that when he wasn't here, well, it could be uncomfortably quiet. A lot of people from all over the world come to visit World News tonight. We would often say that whatever they thought of us or the broadcast that day, at least they left smiling. They'd met Arnott Walker. That's our report on World News tonight. I'm Peter Jennings. Good night.
Tomorrow, replacing human muscles with artificial ones. Think what this could do to medicine and sports. It's the cutting edge. Watch ABC's World News tonight with Peter Jennings. This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
What if there are complications? Who will decide if your child needs tests or specialists? Insurance administrators? At Kaiser Permanente, doctors decide. At moments like this, shouldn't your health be in the hands of doctors? Kaiser Permanente, in the hands of doctors.
Hello, welcome to Dodge Durango 101. Today, I'll be covering the 5.2 and 5.9 liter Magnum V8 vis-a-vis Durango's superiority in the class structure of domestic compact sport utility vehicles. You're not listening. You're just staring at the Durango, aren't you? Aren't you? Why do I even bother? Just standing up here like a big doofus.
See the friendly Northwest Dodge dealer near you.
The final days of the Toyota National Clearance Event are on now at your Toyota dealer. It's goodbye to all our 98 4Runners and RAV4s. It's ciao with a low finance rate of 1.8%. That's just 1.8%. And 4Runner is the best overall value in its class. Or get an incredible 1.8% on RAV4. See your Toyota dealer now for the Toyota National Clearance Event. But hurry before we say later to this amazing event.
Announcing the Clairol AM Northwest Color Me Beautiful Makeover Contest, where you can win a trip to New York City and tickets to the Rosie O'Donnell Show. Pick up your entry blank at participating Fred Meyer stores featuring the Clairol display. Mail it in to KATU's AM Northwest and watch the dramatic results live October 5th. You'll find specials on Clairol Herbal Essence and Clairol Hair Color products. Buy any Clairol hair color and get an Herbal Essence free. Look for contest displays of Clairol Hair Color and Herbal Essence at participating Fred Meyer stores.
If you've ever raced to catch a flight, remember, Shuttle by United has more flights from Portland to LAX and the San Francisco airport than any other airline. So you can relax. Even if you do miss a plane, we'll have another one along real soon.
Nice day.
Yeah, but it makes me realize the best thing about our new home.
Like seeing the rain but not hearing it?
Quiet is good, but that's not it.
Lower heating bills.
Nice, but nope.
Own an energy-efficient manufactured home. Insist on the Supergood Sense or Natural Choice labels. For information, call 1-800-35-OWNER.
So what is your favorite thing about living here?
It's your feet. They're finally warm.
Today's manufactured home. Built for living. Built for life.
Coming up on AM Northwest, we're hanging with the star from Rigoletto.
Assia turbare, assia turbare.
What if I want to drive as fast as I can?
What if I don't want to act my age?
What if instead of growing older,
We just want to keep growing.
Whatever the future holds for you, you can rest assured there's a healthcare organization looking forward to tomorrow as much as you are.
What if I plan on living another 75 years?
What if you didn't have to worry about healthcare? Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Channel 2 News, Portland's #1 news team. Still the best. Still the power of 2. Now, get ready for the power of 2000.
Courtney Cox, Annabella Sciorra, and George Siegel on Howie.
And now, Channel 2 weather with meteorologist Rob Marciano.
Good evening once again. Here's a final check on your weather for tomorrow's forecast across the rest of the nation. Denver looking good. Sunshine across the Great Plains. Maybe a couple of showers just south of Chicago and north of St. Louis. The big story will continue to be the flooding rains produced by what's left of George after getting pounded by this storm earlier today. The Gulf Coast, the northeastern Gulf Coast, will continue to get wet tomorrow. Nice day from New York to Washington, D.C. Also nice from Seattle. Maybe a few showers in San Francisco. A dry day in Los Angeles and wet if you're traveling up to Anchorage, Alaska. Here's your forecast now for the Oregon coastline. We do expect to see some cloud cover tomorrow. We'll call it mostly cloudy, especially in the morning, then peaks of sun in the afternoon. Lower to mid-60s for daytime highs, northwest winds from